anyone is seeing this right now, I don't even know. Where do we even start with this? I haven't filmed in God knows how long. Like, social media blackout for probably close to a year now. I've always loved creating things, making videos. It was like, oh, self-expression. Look at me put myself out there, and like, it gave me an outlet to be myself. And all of a sudden, I got a corporate job. And then I felt like, okay, well now I have to be all serious and an adult, and I, can't have fun anymore. And I can't put these fun pieces of content out and express myself creatively because I am obligated to fit into the box of someone who seems professional. Part of my fear is that, oh, if I keep posting and my company somehow finds it and then I get fired and then I have no money, and it's like a snowball effect. How I am on my YouTube channel is vastly different from how I am in the workplace. And it's a weird balance that I haven't really quite figured out. But I think being away from creating videos and things for so long has been really bad for me personally. I've had a lot of like internal anger, a lot of frustration because I'm not allowing myself to be creative really. And then, that has always been a very innate part of me. Like, my first video on YouTube, I was probably like 12 years old. I'm 26 right now. I'll be 27 in a few months. That's a long ass time. Obviously, it's something I never allowed myself to really grow upon it and make it into something bigger than myself, because that also terrifying. Putting yourself under some sort of microscope or stepping out there to give people the opportunity to judge you, that's fucking scary, dog. So far, I haven't been relevant enough for people to really hate on me super hard, but my ego is like, if that happens, I don't know how I'm gonna handle it, because I also have like a lot of mental health things. I experienced a lot of, trauma, and stuff that I haven't really allowed myself to even process. But this, like, posting things has always been at least like a good distraction more than anything, or just made me feel like, oh, I have somewhat of a sense of purpose. Like, I'm making, like, the purpose of making the thing is to allow myself to have fun in my life. Without making the thing, there's no fun in my life. That sounds so sad. And like, also, I'm the best at suffering in silence. Like, pin drop, you can hear it, but I'll still like, dead silence. And it's one of those things also at work, not really like what I truly wanted to do. I'm very much like, the opportunity presents itself and I react to that. I've never really sought things out. The only thing that I've known to do, and I've always been like, is I like to try a bunch of different things. I get super invested in something, I get bored, and I try something else. I don't allow myself to go deep, so then I can never be successful. And I would say I'm like good, mediocre to good at most things, right? So then it's like, well, in a world where it's so specialized, where it's like, oh, you have to be good at this very, 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 very niche specific thing in order to get anywhere in life. I don't function like that. And then it goes into my self-worth. Also along these lines, like, taking a step back from YouTube and social media, it was like a habit, and it developed a fear in me, like a fear of being seen, where I've never really had that before. I mean, I've always been uncomfortable in person, and I've always been like socially awkward when I first meet people. I'm scared of people judging me because of how hard I am on myself. I am very much the kind of person who's like, well, growing up, people left me, not intentionally. People move away, like, people wouldn't intentionally leave me. Like, it was a matter of circumstance, but people moving away happened frequently. And then it was like, oh, what's the point of getting close to someone if they're just gonna leave me? And then I didn't allow myself to open up to really anyone. And that's also kind of why I turned to YouTube to express myself. The nice thing about talking to a camera is it doesn't talk back. And if you post something, there is like a time between when you post it versus when you start receiving reactions or getting a response or making it into a conversation. Like, if it's in person, it's immediate judgment, immediate feedback. So with this, it almost allows me to be able to sit with what I'm saying and be comfortable with it before posting it. In person, it's like an immediate reaction is needed a lot of the time. And I'm the kind of person who needs to decompartmentalize everything and take a step back and really think about it before I make a decision or interact with people. You know, the fear of being seen kind of compounded over time, and I've always isolated myself, but it's gotten pretty bad. And I think recently it's almost become a little bit worse because I don't know if you're familiar with my life, probably not, because I haven't shared anything in a long time. I've moved from New Jersey. I'm in South Carolina now. Completely different environment, different area, different people. The only person I know where I live is my roommate, and she's never home because she works really, really long hours and we don't have the same days off. So I've pretty much just been alone for months with very bare minimum human interaction, social interaction, and then all you have is your thoughts. And then you get into bad habits and then this whole thing, right? At least like me trying to take the step to get back to the things that I love, to get back to, maybe posting videos or painting or doing artwork or doing something would be beneficial to me. I think everything compounding into itself and me being scared to make connections with people, I've never felt like I've learned how to be a good supportive friend to other people, let alone like the pressure that a lot of people are feeling around just in the 20s in general. There's some people who already have babies and are married and like, okay, good for them. Most of the people that I'm friends with, I guess, from home, right, they're not in that phase of life. So I've never felt like pressure to do that because also I'm still trying to figure out if that is even something I want or if that's something like, oh, society's conditioned you to want this. And it's like trying to step out and think more for myself. That's what's really like helped me in this transition, I guess, because I'm like, okay, I'm spending all this time alone, so it's time to really dive deeper and get to know myself more. And I've had moments where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm my best friend, like, we cool. And then there's moments where I'm like tearing myself apart from the inside out. And it's not healthy. All of this to say, I want to come back and feel like I can have a space that is safe for me to feel like I can be myself. Because I can't be myself at work. Or at least the full encompassing version of myself. And I've always seen my personality as very complex, and I act how I do based on my environment. If you think about it in your own life, if you're by yourself and you're alone, you're gonna act different than when you're surrounded by a group of people, whether that's good, bad, or indifferent. Sometimes you act in a way where, you want to be the center of attention, you want a reaction, you're trying to provoke a reaction. Or it depends on how close you are to the person. Like for me, if I walk into a busy, like crowded place and I don't know anyone there, I will feel the most uncomfortable. I won't make eye contact with anyone. I will be isolated in the corner and feel like, oh, I want to leave. I want to get the fuck out of here. I want to be alone. Because it's also like, this is just too much. And I also get overstimulated very easily. And then there's the other side of it where it's like, okay, if I were in an environment where I was friends with, or at least acquaintances with majority of the people in the room, and there was a couple new people, I would feel so much more comfortable and so much more inclined to open up. All of this to say, I want to come back to create the safe space for myself. When you don't do something consistently, you're forgotten about. You're yesterday's news. It's not like I was ever anyone's news to begin with. I mean, I've never really hit anything crazy on YouTube. No crazy numbers. Like, my most viewed video was, I think, is like 13 or 15K. But it's for something that attracted weird, like, people with really weird vibes. hypnosis videos. The attractive people with really weird vibes made me super uncomfortable. So it's also part that's like, okay, well, I want to post more videos and I want to be able to express myself and dive into things I'm curious about. I also love video essays. Maybe I get into that. I don't know, because I love researching things and then figuring out how things work and how all these sorts of things and events connect. And I just love learning random fucking bullshit that doesn't matter to anything in my life. Like, absolutely nothing. Like, completely irrelevant. And I get fixated on something for a while, and then it switches up. And that's just always, you know, how it's been. Now I feel like if I were to come back, I also need to be more conscious of the types of videos that I'm putting out, right? Like, I don't want to be in a position where I make something and it hurts someone's feelings. But if you are strong on an opinion, someone's not gonna like it. You might as well come as yourself. Maybe it's more of a thing where I just need to deal with the fact that not everyone's gonna like me and like get over myself, which is part of it. The other part is like, okay, I need to think about, will this piece of content attract really fucking weird and creepy people? Like the hypnosis videos attracted weird and creepy people. If you came from those videos and you subscribed, like, and you're not weird, thanks. But people were DMing me and emailing me and making comments saying like, oh, I want you to try to do hypnosis on me and like pay me to do more hypnosis on you. And I'm like, this is kind of weird, creepy, and manipulative. Okay, I was already manipulated enough to be in an MLM, which is one and done thing for me when I was super lost in my life after trauma, but we don't really go there anymore. I just wanted to make this because I don't know where to start, and the first video always back is so much pressure because it's like, oh, you have to make people remember why they're subscribed to you and that they are subscribed to you. So if you forgot that you're subscribed to me, sorry. If you remembered, also sorry. I'm done making promises of consistency on things, and I'm done apologizing for putting pressure on myself or making false promises of like, I don't know, who I am as a person and who I'm trying to grow into. And also, part of it is like, most of my videos are very like silly goofy, like being goofy goober and doing like crazy dumb, well, I wouldn't say it's completely insane, but I make, like, you know, I try to be funny, right? Like, okay. And that's on trauma. When traumatic things happen to you, or when you're medium ugly as a child, that's when you're funny. Part of it also that was starting to affect me when I was posting more consistently is that being that goofy, funny, like this shitty, horrible humor, that side of myself in all my videos, and those ones doing better, and then on the rare occasion that I would show any sort of seriousness or like God forbid I said something profound or something I thought of was profound, right? Sorts of things never got the same reaction. Like, people wanted more so to see me being silly, goofy, funny Jess, not like intelligent, serious, profound Jess. Like, oh, I'm so stuffy and stuff. But it's like, bro, I'm a person, I'm complex, you're complex. You're not one-dimensional. No one's one-dimensional. But as human beings, we like to perceive each other as one-dimensional. And also not capable of change. Like, it's crazy to think about how, like, when you're back in school, in high school, college, or whatever, you think of a person and your opinion of them is still the same as it was when you were in high school, if you haven't like spoken to them or just talked to them or whatever, because that's all you've known. They could have very well grown into a completely different person and evolved very differently from you. Like, even amongst your friends, like, who you've had for a long time, like, they can grow and evolve in a different way than you can grow and evolve, and that's also why a lot of people drift apart. Of course, also, like, after babies and kids and things, like, you know. But it's one of those things where it's like, you just remember them from a snapshot in time, but we see that as permanent for some reason, which is wild. Like, I don't know. I bet everyone I do is very different now than they were. And if there's no evolution, like, that's something to be concerned about. So, all of this to say. I've liked the side of myself that is intellectual and profound and a very deep thinker and very much like I can connect things. I can make different connections, why this is impacted by this and that the other thing, right? And that's like the side of me I felt like you can't share this side of you because people won't like it, right? Like, and that's ridiculous. That side of me that I liked isn't going to be well received by everyone, and it impacted my self-esteem with that, because it was like, oh, well, you only like this small segment of me and not all of me. But it's also like, you have a parasocial relationship with people who you see online as well. So it's like, people think they know you, but they don't. I think that's insanely wild. People think they know you, but they don't. You think you know me, but you don't. Maybe you don't know me at all and you're stumbling across this somehow, and I am so sorry. This is just me rambling. I just wanted to rip off the Band-Aid and put out a video and give myself just space to vent. And if you find this, if you needed to hear this, like, cool. If you didn't, sorry, you just wasted your life. Like, sorry, you just wasted 20 minutes of your life. But also, you chose to stay here. So, you could have left at any time. Anyway, anything new that's happened, besides moving here to South Carolina, nothing's really happened. I really like the new 21 Pilots song, Next Semester. They're coming back. There's a lot of great music this year, which I'm super excited for. Girl in Red's having a new album. Conan Gray's having a new album. 21 Pilots is having a new album. It's a good time. It's a good time to be alive, everybody. But I want to come back to something that I feel like I have control over, and to create a space where I feel like I can fully be myself. And I don't think, even when I was originally posting, that I created that space for me. I mean, I've always created the space for me, but not like all aspects of myself. It was more like silly, goofy, fun Jess, not, you know, all sides of my personality. And I'm very much like, try to show up how I want to learn to show up better how I'm feeling on the days when I'm like experiencing the world, as opposed to feeling like I have to pretend to be happy. I'm just gonna leave it at that. It's already ran on long enough. Do what you want, live your best life. We'll see how this goes. I'm thinking maybe I should just leave the rambling for my podcast and bring that back. I think that was pretty therapeutic. Also, I'm filming this on Easter and I'm spending it alone, so that's fun. You know, Jesus has risen, but I haven't risen out of my bed. Goodbye.